It's a beautiful evening here in Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia, at the KBN TV studios in mass media. And if you're just tuned in, you're watching KBN TV on DSTV 279, on Topstar channel 102, and we've got on GoTV channel 27, and you are watching The Naked Truth. You know, quite an interesting show that pretty much discusses some of the trending stories on particular personalities in society, dispelling some of the rumors and actually getting to hear some of the facts, and probably, if they can, of course, tell us some of their deepest secrets and their deepest thoughts. And with me in studio is someone who's not a person who might be odd to you, especially if you follow the political sphere here in Zambia, somebody who is arguably one of the biggest names we have on the political ground, and that is the EEP president, Mr. Chilufya Tayali. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm introducing another.
Yes.
I don't know what I would say. Mm-hmm. It will now be Chilufya Tayali, the next president.
The next president. I love that. I love that. When are we seeing you being the next president? Is it around the corner?
A few years, of course. Next president after Hakainde Hichilema.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
We have quite a lot to talk about. I think a lot of our conversation around who you are, not just as a public figure, but what you've been able to do, and probably some of the things a bit behind, and some of the things quite recent. You know, pretty much, and I feel quite a lot that people can learn from you. You know, to start with, who is Tayali? Aside from the political side that we know you for, I can see you already wearing yellow, representing.
Yeah, I was actually very much geared for politics.
So no, we are having that, of course.
So yeah. It's basically you are telling me to put down the tempo a little bit.
At least for the next 30 minutes or so.
Yeah. Okay. So who is Chilufya Tayali? Well. There isn't much about me because, I mean, most of the times, I mean, I do discuss everything. Yeah. I think many people who know me, they know pretty much who Chilufya Tayali, but maybe something that they might not know is that, I'm a person that was brought up, I was born and brought up in Ndola, and I was actually born in Ndola Central Hospital.
Central. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I went to school in Ndola itself. I completed my grade 12 at Chifubu Secondary School, after which I went to a seminary in Malawi, did some philosophy and religious studies. From there, I went to Uganda, and that's where my journey in trying to become a priest ended. Yeah. Came back into the country, did some computer studies at different schools, including University of Zambia on a special program, and then opened a small company called Chilufya Computer Solutions. Yeah. Ran that company for some time, then went into civil society, where I ran an organization called the Zambian Voice, because I've always wanted to help people. From that, I joined politics, formed a political party, Economic and Equity Party, and here I am. Journey. Of course, from the family side, I'm also a family man. You know, I have 3 beautiful girls. One of them is at the university doing civil engineering. The other one is just completing grade 12. The other one is just starting school.
Oh. That's pretty interesting.
I'm very married
yes.
to my beautiful wife from Ethiopia.
No, indeed. I must say you've quite a beautiful family. That's something that people can pretty much hide.
Thank you.
Two things to highlight as we begin your journey of being a priest. You know, what ended that journey? I think we were quite aware that at some point you wanted to be a priest, and there was a change of heart or a change of mind, I must say.
It's not really. It's not really so much. It's not really a change of heart. I diverted from the path of wanting to become a priest, not really out of change of heart. Up to today, I want to tell you that, given a chance, I would actually pursue that journey of priesthood. For me, I think it's one of the best lives.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best. I think I would have been a very cool priest.
Yes.
I think I would have really been a very good priest. I do admire priesthood.
Yes,
I admire priesthood. I admire especially being a parish priest, you know.
Yes.
You have people there, what,
Yes.
you know. I just love it. But anyway, like they say, priesthood is not like, you know, these other careers. Priesthood is a vocation, meaning it's a call from God. God chooses you to be a priest. And so sometimes, I mean, as much as you may want, from your point of view, but then God might say, no, but this is not for you.
Your calling, yeah.
So from my point of view, much as I wanted to become a priest, God did not call me to become a priest. And I was actually chucked out of the seminary. I was chucked out of the seminary. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that.
What was the reason?
I was kicked out.
Behind
the controversy.
Yes.
I'm just like the way people know me. I'm a controversial person.
Outspoken.
Yes. And you know, surely, truth be told, my character as a priest would have not really been very good. So I think those who kicked me out, they were right. That you know, okay, this guy can be a priest, because I'm quite controversial. Not controversial in the negative sense. I don't want to, you know, it's not so much in the negative sense. It's in the sense that, for me, I mean, I say things as they are. And sometimes I don't have the patience. Sometimes I don't have the patience. So a priest, you know, holds back. A priest will choose what to say and so on and so forth. But for me, I'll just say it just like that. So, yeah.
Do you think probably an off reason would also be an admiration for the opposite gender? You know, being a priest, as we know, is sort of restricted, you know, from marriage. Would you say that was also a reason? You wanted to build a family, you wanted to...
No. I mean, the issue of, you know, women was not a problem for me. When I was in the seminary, women were not one of the problems. I mean, no. I didn't have a problem in that aspect. You know, much as, you know, I like them, especially now. I mean, I like women, that's for sure. I mean, women
beautiful
are very nice. Oh, yeah. You know, so... I think God has compensated me. You know, people will say, but what did you tell this lady? Whatever, you know. Of course, this is my second marriage, but I mean, even my first wife is very beautiful. So I think God compensated me with beautiful women. And beautiful children.
In place of being a priest.
Yes, I think he was like, okay, you know what? I mean, okay, you go away, but come on, here are these beautiful women, you know.
To comfort you.
Exactly. So,
So you've mentioned of an IT firm, we can call it that you had instituted. If I stand to be correct, I think that should have been like 2007?
Yes.
January? Roughly around around there.
Oh, wow, you scare me now. What more did you dig out there?
I was in the year when but
you are right. 2007, yes, in January,
Yes.
We were at Findeco House. 13th floor, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this when you had begun this firm, what sort of made that pause? What made that change? Because now this is let me call it Tayali as a young man, you know, coming in from wanting to be a priest, and now you move into a different dimension, and and you build a firm.
You see, for me, I subscribe to formal education. But I am a critic of the education that we receive, even at secondary school, and even some of these colleges and universities. I don't think that they help us that much. For example, during school, some of the things that we learn, really, I mean, you don't apply them in your life. Never, you don't apply them at all. Of course, education is to, train your mind to be able to process, things and come up with results. That's what really education does. As when you say, you have reached grade 12 and you have gotten a certificate, you are simply saying you are able to process, some complex situations and come up with whatever. Okay, but really I think we could do better. Instead of taking 9 subjects, I think we could slash that into just 4 subjects. And we could do very well. So even when you talk about university, I mean, a lot of people these days, we don't even choose. We don't dream to say, I want to become this. We do whatever comes before us. So from my point of view, I wanted to become an accountant first earlier on, at my early stage, because my father was an accountant. But then later on, with the coming in of computers, I was intrigued with that technology. The technology that came in that really drew my attention. So I wanted to be, an information technologist. Information technologist. That's what I wanted to be. So when I came out of the seminary, I wanted to pursue that. I wanted to write programs. I wanted to repair computers. And when I went to University of Zambia, at that time they were doing computer mathematics. And when they showed me what it was, I mean, really, I said, no, this is not what I want. And I remember then the dean was the Dr. That name, the name is
gone.
But anyway, when I encountered her and I told her to say, this is what I want to be, and when she persuaded me, and then she said, you know what, we are actually thinking to start some programs. So basically what I asked is, isn't it possible that I could have some lecturers who could teach me how to write programs, how to repair computers, and how to maintain computers? Isn't it possible?
Just that.
Just that. That's what I asked.
Yes.
And and that arrangement was done, but we had to be a number of us. So we were about 13 in a group, and we started that program. So basically, I only picked what I wanted, what I wanted. And of course, that meant that you don't get certified at the end of the day. But I said, I don't mind. I don't need the certificate. What I need is me to be able to do these things. So when I enrolled that was in 2001. In 2001, and I finished the program in 2003. So 2003, I formed a company. I have these tools. I have the knowledge. I didn't want to go looking for a job. I didn't have the certificate for me, because when you go looking for a job, you have to present a certificate. But I had the knowledge. So instead, I formed a company, and I started going around from one company to the other. And one of the companies where I went and repaired a few computers was at NECO.
Oh, NECO.
I went there. They used to have these computers. People were bringing computers, and I would do some piecework there to blow the computers, whatever. And my first client was SOS. SOS, they gave me the entire computer room, with a number of computers to service them and so on and so forth. That's how I started off with my company, Chilufya Computer Solutions. By the way, that company started in 2004. And opened Zambian Voice in 2007. At that time, Chilufya Computer Solution had 17 workers. 17 workers.
Yes.
We were servicing clients, hotels and lodges throughout the country. We had 35, clients. We were making good money.
Yes.
We were making good money, and that's what made me think that, I had so much money which I can share with others. Yeah. Hence opening the Zambian Voice. Yeah.
A non-governmental organization.
A non-governmental organization.
Yes.
And it was being funded by Chilufya Computer Solutions.
So your own business was funding your next...
My NGO activity, because my nature, I want to help people. That's my nature. I just want to help people. I want to help the poor. So even when I made that company, I was like, God, you have blessed me so much with so much, whatever. So let me be helping out others. That's how I formed Zambian Voice.
Okay. So you've mentioned something concerning helping others. I think something that's quite prominent on your socials. A tagline that they love that you say is, let's suffer together.
Yes. Yes.
The future.
Let's suffer together. Let's grow together for the good of the country.
So currently, where is Chilufya Computers? Is it still functioning?
No, it's not. It's not, because when I entered into the NGO, my company was left in the hands of technicians. But it had its challenges, because, you find that sometimes these technicians, they would go to do the work, and instead of bringing the money to the company, they don't bring the money to the company. Sometimes they would be paid by clients, and I would not know about it, and so on and so forth. So I left all the technicians, because really they were now independent. Where I am, I have empowered a number of young people. I used to get young people who knew very little about computers and taught them. I'm very proud that some of those technicians, they are actually now running, they have opened the companies, doing exactly what we were doing at Chilufya Computer Solutions. And they have clients. And when I meet some of these guys, one of the guys, I met him at East Park from the gym there. He's looking all big and better than me. But I'm so proud. And some of them are managers, managing IT departments, like in some of these big companies and banks. They are there. So, while people think that I'm just a simple Mushani Nabwali, I'm a person who has come from behind, who has empowered people who are doing very well now. How I wish they would come on social media sometimes when people call me Mushani Nabwali, and just come and testify and say, you know what, this man made me to be this and that and that. But anyway, they are professionals, and I am in politics. So
something that strikes me about this conversation is because I'm actually an IT graduate as well.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. So knowing that you had this interest in
I'm telling you, I put up a number of guys in my company. I gave them a head start.
Yes.
Some of them were coming for, what is this, interns.
Yes.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud when I think of some of these guys. I wish I could mention these and that, but I can't mention them now. But
you could mention at least one or two. They could be so happy to hear themselves saying.
No, politics is just so funny. You just never know. Somebody might be working for this bank, and you say, "Oh, I've got this guy. He's the manager." And then you'll be like, "Oh, that guy."
Let's clear him.
So
So let's dive into now Zambian Voice. Let's take its journey from 2007 coming down. Probably before I speak a bit on the Zambian Voice, what's probably a date that's quite familiar in your mind when you sit down and think of Zambian Voice? Is there a particular date that dawns?
A date?
Yes.
A date in Zambian Voice?
Yes.
I have several.
You could mention two. Before I just give you one that
in Zambian Voice.
Yes.
In Zambian Voice. In Zambian Voice.
Yes.
Well, one of the the things that I remember very well is, you know, when we were doing the Constitution, Constitution review, which was done by Vasata with that committee of experts.
Experts, yes.
And so that they did that draft, and then they presented it to Vasata. Then Vasata said, no, this is not ready.
Yeah.
Okay, and people started, you know, making noise over that. No, we want the constitution. We want the constitution.
Yes,
and I remember by that time, Winter Kabimba was the justice minister.
Minister of Justice. Yeah.
And I was part of the civil society that was saying we want the constitution.
Yeah.
But I had an opportunity later on, you know, when we were making this noise and whatever, I had an opportunity one time. Vasata called me and gave me the draft.
Yes.
Okay, with the marked whatever, you know, with what's this, highlighted
notes.
Notes. So when I went through that, I changed my mind and I said I had a press conference at Lusaka Hotel, and I said the constitution is not ready. It's
not ready as well.
We need to do something on it. And I remember how my fellow civil society were on me.
How they rose up.
They said, you know, you have been bought. You have been bought. That's why you are saying this.
Change your mind.
They were really on me.
Yes.
So that was the first time, and I'm telling you because that time, you know, I was not as mature as I am now.
Today,
I've gotten the experience. But it took a lot of me to say, no, the constitution is not ready. I still actually have the article which came out in the Daily Nations.
Yes.
But up to today now, with all many things that have been happening, I feel proud of myself that, first of all, I thank Vasata that he gave me that opportunity to look at why he was holding on to it.
Yes.
And then, secondly, I am proud of myself that in spite of the pressure that was there, I stood my ground to say it is not ready. When then many people were saying, no, it is ready. Today, we are grappling with so many issues in the constitution. Because, of course, when Edgar Lungu came in as a president, he gave it. Because people were calling for it. And then what did Valungu do? Valungu gave it. But those issues that Vasata was talking about, we are grappling with them up to today. Edgar Lungu himself found himself entangled in some of those issues. And one of the issues is the issue of third term.
Yes.
Has he done, did he
finish
2 terms?
Yes.
Or is it whatever?
Yes.
Those issues. So, for me, from that, even now, that's why I'm not afraid to go against what many people are saying. As long as I'm convinced about it, I go with it because, you know, today you might seem that you are so wrong, but in future, people will remember to say, he was right after all. I was right. Vasata was right to have held back that draft because now we are in problems.
So, do you think Vasata had a reason as to why he entrusted you to say, okay, have a look at some of these key notes that this constitution holds? Do you think he had a reason why he had you to do that? You see,
I was not close to Vasata, so to say. I encountered him before he became president because at one time when he just left, when he left MMD, he was doing, by then we are doing leaflets.
Yes.
So, and we were sticking them
all over,
all over, you know.
Yes.
So, one of my friends was a nephew to Vasata. He's the one that came to me. You remember I was doing IT. So he said, so I went at farmer's house and I did. So I did a bit of graphics for him that time. And I was getting paid for that. But now, I came to know Basata when I was doing Zambian Voice, because I was actually criticizing him. Yeah. I was very vocal.
You are very vocal.
Yes, but the difference is, with these other presidents, Basata, when you say something, he used to call me, and he would challenge me on whatever position that I was talking about. Now, you come to State House, and he'll give you his side.
His side of things, yeah.
That is rare. You know, that is rare. He's the only president, at least, okay, I mean, in my old days. Yes. But with the previous government, Barungu, Ngawalanda sana, Niselo. Even this time around, Walanda sana, Niselo. But Basata used to call me, and at least he called me 3 times. 3 times. One, it was on by Chief Chitimukulu. Yes. The other one is on this issue. The other one is on Basylvia Masebo.
Yes.
When there was Basylvia Masebo cancelled,
yes.
You know, whatever. Yes. 3 instances. So, from my point of view, I think something that I learned from Basata, and even me when I will become president, I will not be taking people to Kuma cells. I'll be calling them and interacting with them. I think we can do well if we can call our citizens and engage them. Basata had this gift, and I really appreciate it. I learned something from him.
So no one ever really wakes up and just becomes Tayali, you know. One morning, I think you're one of the politicians with the largest followings, you know. I've been following a show you do on your socials, the Direct Talk, and you have insane numbers, you know, and you don't, like I said, no one can wake up and have 300,000 followers, you know. At what point do you think Tayali came to be who he is today? Is there a particular day that just changed everything? And
no, I think really my makeup is nothing of myself but of God. My makeup is nothing of myself but of God. I didn't choose to have this character. You know, of course, my upbringing has a lot to do with the way I am today. But really, the character, I think it's only God that, gave me this gift. It's a gift, really. Even when I was in the seminary, I remember I was very convincing. I mean, a lot of people liked me. So I can only thank God that, he has given me this gift, this ability, this characteristic. It's really not something that I can say, it's me. But of course, my character also has its own backlashes, you know, where sometimes because you are Chilufya Tayali, you say something and many people whatever. And then when you make a mistake, you know, I'm not condemned by one person. The whole world. It's everyone on me. Yes. You know, you have done this and whatever. Yeah. And so sometimes, if you are not careful, you can actually, withdraw. You know, but I thank God again. I'm able to say, okay, I've made a mistake. I'm human. I mean, come out, apologize, and move on. A number of people like to say, no, you always like to apologize. No, it is just that, I've been correct so many times, million times, and I have been wrong a few times. Right. But people prefer to remember the few times that I've been wrong than the many times that I've been right. And that, if you're not careful, you can concentrate on the negative to say, oh, I'm so wrong. I mean, look, people, whatever. And you focus on that and you just die down. What you have to do is that don't focus so much on your negative. When you make a mistake, yes, face that mistake, apologize, and move on. And that is my attitude. That is my attitude. Yeah.
Okay, so probably one more date under Zambian Voice before I give you one that might flash back a few memories. Do you have any other date you'd want to share? A particular date that rings bells?
When I demonstrated against Vakanganja.
I thought you didn't say that one.
Yeah, when I demonstrated that against Vakanganja, all alone in a short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you, that took a bit of me.
Courage.
I'm telling you, it took a bit of me.
Did you regret that day, or maybe you?
No, I don't regret at all. I don't regret at all. But on the other hand, I also appreciate Bakanganja because I actually wrote to them. You see, this is what is very important. You know, as much as whatever you do, try to stay within the framework of the law. I'm in court with so many cases, but really, in as far as the law is concerned, I am a law-abiding citizen. And I don't think really I would go to jail for whatever I am in court for, because really I have not broken the law. So I wrote to the police, asking them that I want to demonstrate against Bakanganja. And he accepted. So much as I may look like a hero, I also want to commend Bakanganja, you know, and I think Bakanganja is one of the IGs that really I was tampering with. Pushing the button so many times. I mean, we even went to court with him. I mean, he dragged me into court. He locked me up. We were in court and everything. But still, I want to say that, I mean, wherever he is, I want him to know that I appreciate him. I appreciate him. Yes, he was an IG. The police have to enforce the law, and sometimes they have to protect the politicians. So, but in spite of all that, you know, they didn't kill me. So
you're here today.
So I appreciate that. You know, there was also a part on the side of the police which allowed me to do certain things, like when I demonstrated. The police would have stopped me.
Especially that time, you know, that time you were pretty much...
They would have stopped me, but they didn't. So, I don't want to be like, no, I'm a hero. I overcame the IG. No, there was also grace on his part to allow me to, you know, do what I did.
Do what you did. What do you remember about the 29th of May? Precisely 2015.
29th of May? I can't remember. Tell me.
You can't remember. 2015, there were some court cases around you. By then, most of the blogs that had released was executive director for Zambian Voice.
Are you talking about the rape case?
The rape case.
Ah! Is it the day that I was acquitted?
The day you were acquitted.
Yeah.
I thought that would be like your most, you know, memorable day.
No, not really. Not really. For me, the rape case was... I think I don't think that it's something that was so much personal. It's something that was so much personal. So unfortunately, of course, because I was in the public, you know, it was a big issue.
Limelight,
and I never raped you know, the lady in question. And I think it is some of those things that happen to you, and you feel like, why is this happening to me? But then it was a blessing in disguise, because through that rape case, I was very much known. A lot of people came to know Chilufya Tayali through that rape case. So my popularity, my fame grew out of that case. So it was unfortunate, but I think it was a blessing in disguise.
Would you want to highlight just a bit of how, where pretty much the whole conversation had begun? You know, where did all the allegations begin of the executive director for Zambian Voice by then, you know, issue of having raped somebody, even when, like we've said, it was a blessing in disguise, but where did the whole story begin? What was the narrative? Where were the allegations coming from?
Where there were allegations coming from? No, you see, basically, I mean, you want the juicy part. I mean, what really happened? No, the thing is that I was in this relationship I ended in this relationship with this young lady who was actually engaged to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think the lady was
Trying to play.
not really to play. I think the lady was, trying to juggle. It's that situation where you meet this guy and then things are going.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow you meet another interesting guy. You meet Chilufya Tayali.
Yeah, I mean, it's you.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he's more interesting.
Yeah.
He makes conversation. He does this and that.
Yeah.
And you feel to say, but now, so the lady was just in between, wondering. And really, she was just in between.
Yeah.
Not that the lady was a bad girl playing two men. No, it was just a situation where, she was just in between.
Decided.
And I think she liked me, and I liked her too. Except that at one point, from my point of view, I said, I mean, you are already engaged. So if I have to take you seriously or go whatever, you have to break up with the other guy, okay? But anyway, the relationship continued. But one day, what happened was that we went to have a good time at one of the motels, like we used to. So from there, the lady she was working. So the lady had changed, and she even held, she took off the shoes, because it's that situation whereby she's hoping that when I go home, I'll just go and sleep, right?
Yes.
But as she reached home, she found that the guy was actually waiting for her. And the guy could tell that, look, you were having some good time.
Yes.
Okay?
Elsewhere. Yes.
Elsewhere. So, and then, unfortunately, the lady was scared because of the family and whatever. She said, well, I didn't want. He just forced me.
Okay.
So the young man, charged with that energy,
yes,
he went and reported to say, my girlfriend was raped. And when she reported that my girlfriend was raped by Chilufya Tayali, and this is Chilufya Tayali who was giving problems,
making noise,
yes,
before
the people got excited.
Yeah.
They got excited. It was in the news. Tayali has raped somebody. But trust me, between myself and the lady, we were actually even talking.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, she couldn't also go back, to say, no, what I said is not true.
Yeah.
It was difficult. But at the end of the day, God was there. And God was there, but also the lady herself. When she testified, really, she testified, yes, against me. But, where you are testifying and you are really like,
you're trying to squeeze in.
Because I asked her in court to say, did I rape you?
Yes.
And she said, no, you didn't.
You didn't.
And but what happened? So now the prosecutor stood up. No, but then why are we here?
Yes.
Because they really want this case to go against me. And then the lady says, no. So, but what happened? She said, no, you violated me. So I think that was a very important question. Did I rape you?
Yes.
And she said, no, you violated me. So
that cleared so much in the court.
And I think she said that out of a genuine heart. A genuine heart, a good heart, from a good place. So I'm not bitter with the lady. I remember after the case finished, people were telling, no, sue her for malicious prosecution. I can never do that. And I hold no grudge against that lady. Yeah. It was a blessing in disguise.
So just around that conversation, like we talked about, many social media vlogs arose, Each one had their own side of the story to tell. And like we've said, it was a blessing in disguise. Your numbers had escalated during that period, I think, even into 2016. And now we see the birth of EEP. That should have been September. Somewhere there. What drove the opening of the political party? Because now was it the numbers, the influence you're able to drive through the non-governmental organization, then the drama, then you feel, okay, now I think I I have the influence to actually come in?
Well, it's not really the numbers.
Yeah.
It's not really the numbers, and this is something that many I would want many politicians to be wary of, because sometimes we get excited when we see a few people, a few likes on social media, and you think you are big. No, no, the reality on social media and out there is totally different. Yeah. It's totally different. So I'm not one of those politicians who babbles with confidence because I've got numbers on social media. Yes, I have the numbers on social media. I have the influence, that's for sure. But that does not make me, feel like, here I am, I'm big. No, I don't. What really made me form a political party from an NGO is that the fact that, first of all, NGOs, they can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. They can talk day in, day out.
Day in, day out.
They can do that. They can talk from the South Pole to the North Pole.
Yes.
But really, they don't make the decisions. Decisions are made by the politicians. The politicians are the ones that decide the destiny of the citizens. So, and when the politicians have made the decision, you can talk all you want as civil society. If the politicians don't want, they won't.
They won't.
So civil society really do not threaten so much
in the
politicians. They don't.
Yeah.
But fellow politicians threaten
each other.
Why? Because if I'm talking about something and you don't agree with it, you don't do something about it, I become your your challenger. And I'll use those very points to say, he didn't do this, therefore, kick him out, put me in. So the competition is a little bit more serious. Before I just used to I talk about this and leave it there. Now, I'm able to say, look, these promises are not done. If I come in, I will come and do it. So I become a more serious challenger than from an NGO point of view.
What's quite interesting about the conversation, I think, should I just say, political analysts usually feel that, okay, Tayali's opinions ain't really of value in society. Do you feel so? Do you feel that what you say out there is pretty much just one of those things? I've heard a couple of political analysts, of course, say that here and there. What's your view on that?
No, I'm telling you, in this country, I've set up agendas that I've actually gone through, except that I'm not a guy that wants to put my name to say, I started this, I did this. That is not my style. But I've started agendas in this country, and they have come to pass. They have happened. I influence things seriously, but I rarely go to the other side and claim to say, look, it's me. No. But I tell you, there are so many things that even government have done. Even President Edgar Chagwa, there were things that they did because I was talking about it. Even this government, there are things that they have done because I'm talking about it. I'm setting the agenda. And so even 2021 general elections, I did contribute a lot to President Hakainde Hichilema's victory. I did contribute quite a lot. But of course, I'm not a guy that says, hey, I campaign for you. No. I don't do that. Even now, look what is happening. I can give you now. Just now, there was this issue of Alebwele Rapo. Yes. I started that agenda. Alebwele Rapo, and it grew momentum. But I realized that it was not going to go anywhere because of President Edgar Chagwa. And the moment I turned around, I mean, you can see how people are pulling, each other in PF, So I'm not, underrate me at your own peril.
At your own risk.
Underrate me at your own peril.
Okay, so probably before we go on a short break, we want to dive just a little bit into the political side of you and pretty much the recent happenings, the recent events, to get your view. But before we go on a break, let's just talk a little bit about your beautiful family, of course, you know. We mentioned you have 3 beautiful daughters, you know, and a wife who's from Ethiopia originally. Why Ethiopia to start with? I mean, you could have picked anybody within the country.
Basically, again, you never know where you find love.
Yeah.
You never know where you find love. Mm-hmm. So I went to Ethiopia for a holiday. Mm-hmm. I just went to Ethiopia for a holiday in 2018. Mm-hmm. I wanted to learn about the Eastern, about the 4 countries that are doing so well, mm-hmm. you know, at that time.
Yes.
And this was Kenya, mm-hmm. Ethiopia, Rwanda, and Tanzania, mm-hmm. you know. So I went to visit these 4 countries. My itinerary had these 4 countries
in mind. Yeah.
So I started with Ethiopia. From Kenya. I went to Kenya. Mm-hmm. After Kenya, I went to Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. In Ethiopia, whilst I was there, that's when I met my wife. Mm-hmm. And I met her. I didn't really think, we would end up being married and being together. Mm-hmm. But yes, she touched me where not many girls had touched me.
Yes.
And that's how I ended up, marrying her. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just probably a little into conversations around how social media vlogs bring out so much, especially from political leaders like you. We know your wife travels quite in and out of the country.
Yes.
And there was a time when she left the country.
I'm actually looking for a ticket for her to go to Ethiopia, even right now.
Indeed. Are you going to travel with her as well?
No, I think she'll go alone.
No, okay. Mm. So, as I was saying, she's frequent in and out of the country and the like, and social media at some point arose when you had shared, it was more of a job application, you know, saying, if you're a lady, you're a maid, and you'd want to work, you know, you could come work at my place. And now social media arose.
Piecework,
yes. That was the thing.
I said, my wife is not there.
Yes.
You can come for piecework. Yeah.
Now, social media arose. And you know what that pretty much entailed? You know, people thought, hey, his wife is out of the country.
He's white and he wants to be eating some forbidden fruits.
Forbidden fruits.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
No, look.
What was the motive?
Look, for me, I take life with humor. So sometimes I post things that really are just there to entertain people. And that is how I keep the numbers. I want to attract everybody. So some people are intrigued with this kind of stories. There was a time, remember, when I was writing these articles, like I'm fantasizing about Tasila Lungu, you know, blah, 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 blah. It was a soap opera that I set up on my page to keep certain people engaged and entertained. So some of the posts that I make really are just for fun, you know, to entertain people, to make people laugh. You know, there are times when I annoy them, there are times when I inform them, there are times where I have to do that. When you have such a huge following, you need to spice up your content. You bring in this, and that's how I keep my content, my following.
Indeed. So we are going to go on a short break, and we're going to continue the conversation. Of course, this time we're going to dive a little bit into your political side, you know, and probably the recent happenings that have been happening in the country. So you are watching The Naked Truth right here on KBN TV. Do stay tuned for more.
Friday, the 29th of September 2023 will be a monumental day with 2 groundbreaking events. Celebrating excellence at the inaugural 2023 Leadership Excellence Awards at Taj Pamosi Hotel from 19 hours to 22 hours. Earlier on the day, seize the opportunity and come and listen to captains of industry who have excelled in different leadership categories as they speak at the once-in-a-lifetime Leadership Excellence Public Lecture at Mulungushi International Conference Center, a precursor to the awards. Speakers at the Leadership Excellence Public Lecture will include Professor Chifwana Kenny, the visionary behind the growth of University of Lusaka; Iqbal Patel, Group CEO and visionary behind Trade Kings; Professor Taxon Lambert, one of Zambia's longest-serving surgeons; Makebi Zulu, one of the most influential legal minds of our time; Dr. Aaron Mujajati, one of the most accessible and interactive physicians; Dr. Inonge Mbikusita Lewanika, an accomplished educationalist and former ambassador; Mark Townsend, visionary leader at Liquid Intelligent Technologies; Norina Chiteba, founder of Coupes, a professional network that is empowering young women with skills and opportunities; Oscar Chavula, the visionary behind the Hot Media Group and Hot FM, and others. Attendance to the Leadership Excellence Public Lecture at Mulungushi International Conference Center is 1,000 kwacha, inclusive of conference, food and refreshments. In the evening, get yourself a ticket and be part of the inaugural Leadership Excellence Awards Gala Dinner at Taj Pamosi Hotel. VIP tickets 3,000 kwacha. Ordinary tickets 1,500. Guest of honor, European Union Head of Delegation. MCs Kamiza Chikula and Chilufya Mwelwa. Music performance by James Sakala. Pick up your tickets from KBN TV and CompuTicket in all ShopRite outlets or call us on the numbers on screen. Leadership Excellence Awards, inspiring a new generation of leaders. Hosted by Kenmark Communication in partnership with KBN TV.
Garbage in the city, tell me who is to blame. Rubbish in Lusaka, tell me who is to blame. Is it the IMF or the World Bank, the government or the parliament? IMF or World Bank, government or the parliament?
KBN, the finest television, brings you an exciting and informative program dubbed My Life Experience with IP.
It's the same issue I talked about, that we have commercialized leadership. It is no longer a service. So where money is not being generated, you will not see any politician. I'll give you an example. We entrusted one of the leaders, I will not mention the name, like a prominent leader.
Oh, wow, mention. I mean, this is just a blunt discussion. I mean,
A program that looks into the lives of various personalities in society, regardless of their status.
we are black, but we're not black enough. Because if you have to be black, you have to be black in color. If you're not black in color, even if you are born in the black community, you are not accepted as a black. So I'm born from a black family, but because I'm not black, I'm not accepted. They say, no, you're not part of us.
And we contested properties in 2005. That is the election, the campaign that get the, what you call the formula, the properties are formula.
Fantastic.
You bet of it.
I read about it. Just been talked about it
Right.
in different fields.
That's right, that's right.
And I'm happy that I want to understand that. What is it about?
Well, it's some formula really for the vigilance.
Right.
Against both people.
Right.
Tune in every Monday at 21 hours as IP speaks to various individuals as they share their life stories. This you can't afford to miss.
Welcome back, and we still continue here on The Naked Truth, and we are having the EEP president, quite an influential man. I'm sure you are enjoying the conversation. A man who's pretty much, like I said, not new to most of the faces out there, and that is Mr. Chilufya Tayali, who's given us quite a background of how he began his life, how he journeyed through till date in the political scale. And it's been quite a conversation indeed, Mr. Tayali.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about your party and also dive into the recent happenings, what's happening in the country. Do you see, okay, you already mentioned at the beginning of the show saying you're the next president, indeed. But what are some of the things you look at in the current government that probably in the 2 years reign so far that are questionable to say, okay, this is a bit questionable in the way they do things?
Okay. I think, yes, we celebrated 2 years of UPND in government. But then UPND came at the backstroke of so many promises. And from my point of view, as a politician, as an opposition political party, we're supposed to offer checks and balances. I look at what they promised and what has happened. Okay? So, from my point of view, I am looking at the welfare of the Zambians, first of all. For me, I think the UPND has not done very well in terms of looking at the welfare of Zambians. What are those things that I'm talking about? The first thing that if you want to talk about the welfare of people, the first thing is food. In terms of food, the UPND promised that, they will lower the cost of, commodities by lowering the cost of production, by producing more. Unfortunately, 2 years down the line, things have actually become worse than they were during the time of PF. So they have failed tremendously in terms of managing the commodity prices. They have really failed terribly. Look at the bag of mealie meal today. How much is it compared to when they came into power? On average, a bag of mealie meal now is about 300 on average. And yet, when they came into power, when they were complaining that no, a bag of mealie meal is very expensive, at most it was costing about 130 kwacha. Now it is 300 kwacha, which is more than double. The other issue that was quite pertinent was the issue of fuel. They spoke about fuel. President Hakainde Hichilema even used to go on a board and he would, do these mathematics. He spoke about middlemen who were getting 3 kwacha and 2 kwacha, which was going to PF. So basically he was saying he was going to definitely knock off a 5 kwacha immediately comes into power, because you remove the middlemen and you will remove the corruption, the 2 kwacha which was going on corruption. So by that time, fuel was about 17 kwacha, knock off 5 kwacha, we are going to buy fuel at 12 kwacha immediately. And then he actually said, we are going to do it more, we will even bring it up to 10 kwacha. Unfortunately, today as we speak, fuel now is almost 30 kwacha. So, the other issue was the issue of fertilizer, in terms of agriculture. We are going to give you more bags in terms of FISIP. You're going to receive more. During the time of PF, you are receiving 3 bags. 3 bags of urea, 3 bags of D-compound. President Hakainde Hichilema promised he was going to give 4 bags. Alas and behold, when they came into power, they have reduced that to merely people sharing 1 bag. They are sharing it. You also spoke about the price of fuel, of fertilizer. By that time, it was costing about 600 kwacha. Today, a bag of fertilizer on average is about 900, because in certain places it's about 800, in certain places it's about 1,100. So on average about 900, which is an increment. So from my point of view, UPND has not done very well. They could have done well to look at these issues. And of course, many times President Hakainde Hichilema says, I mean, what are your solutions? Of course, for you to have a solution, you must know where the problem is. Where is the problem? Why have things become, so expensive? For example, when you talk about the bag of mealie meal, how come mealie meal has become so expensive? It is very easy, because when UPND came into power, they opened the borders. They allowed our maize and maize meal to be exported. According to them, they said, no, this is not smuggling, this is business. Allow people to take it out. And unfortunately, that increased the demand. And it's simple. The higher the demand, the higher the prices. So they created this problem. And how can we sort out this? From my point of view, UPND should have considered, before opening the borders, they should have first invested more in agriculture so that we produce more and we have so much excess to export. But they didn't. So first of all, what should have happened is to create policies that would bring out a lot of produce. Okay, then we can export. But unfortunately, like I have said, agriculture itself, farming input, was actually even reduced. You see, so you have reduced farming input. Of course, what do you expect? You can't expect more, and yet you have opened the market. So what needs to happen first and foremost is to make sure that farmers are highly supported to grow more. The issue of increasing the price of maize is not a solution. It's not a solution. Why am I saying it's not a solution? Because, I mean, when millers buy a bag of mealie meal expensively, how do you expect them to sell it cheaply? So that is not a solution. For me, the solution is to go back and make sure that we reduce the cost of producing, maize and other farming produce. That is how we can sort out this. When we talk about the issue of fuel, this issue of fuel where government is not participating to make sure that at least they regulate the pricing is costing us big time, because now we even have a monthly review. I think Zambia, I don't know any other country that has a review of fuel prices every month. So basically, in a nutshell, I can tell you that they are not doing very well, and it is a pity that they don't seem to be listening. I wish they could be. Remember what I said, Padibasata, where he was able to engage the opposition, the civil society. I wish the UPND could do the same.
Okay. So due to time, I probably have 2 or 3 more questions that might be of interest to the viewers. Let's talk of what happened, I think, the past 24, 48 hours in the PF Secretariat. You know, we saw Mao Sampa doing what he did, the video circulated of what happened, and Nakachinda, the newly appointed SG, says he's reporting the matter to the police, and later on today as well, Mao Sampa comes in and says, okay, listen, I'm also going to report Nakachinda to the police for sort of standing as SG when he's not. You know, what is your view around the current happenings in the PF?
Well, I think from my point of view, really, all these issues that are happening in PF, it is lack of leadership. The whole issue are pointing to lack of leadership. Because the substantive president has relegated his duties and his authority to people that are not supposed to have those powers. The one who is supposed to be there as president is Edgar Chagwa. He's the substantive president. And all these things are happening because those people that have been appointed, I mean, people like Mao Sampa saying, I mean, you don't have the powers to come back. You are not the substantive, you see. So, but Edgar Lungu is the one who has neglected PF. I wish he could come forward and take that position and sort out the mess
So
in PF.
you'd advise him to come back as...
He should come back.
He should come back.
He should come back and
Yes.
sort out that mess.
Yes.
He should. I'm not talking about Alebu Elerapo. I'm not talking about Alebu Elerapo. Alebu Elerapo
It's a
is
different-
dead. Alebu
Yes.
Elerapo is dead.
So you don't think PF can come back in 2026?
I'm not to say PF.
Yes.
Edgar Lungu.
Edgar Lungu.
PF, it's possible.
Yes.
But Edgar Lungu can't come back.
Can't come back.
Edgar Lungu can't come back and be president. It can't work. It will not work. But he should come back to sort out the mess of PF. Because if he doesn't, PF is going into extinction. PF is going into extinction. They will fight, they will drag themselves in courts and whatever. And at the end of the day, there will be no PF. But Valungu, if Valungu comes back and exercises leadership, he will sort out that mess.
He'll control what's happening.
Exactly.
So, acting vice president, given Lorinda, you feel his powers are not enough to control what's happening?
He's a very good man.
Yes.
He's a good leader. But unfortunately, you know, there are people who are undermining him.
Yeah.
They're undermining him. They are saying, no, come on, you are not, you know.
Yes.
So the only one who can sort out that, it's Edgar Lungu himself to come in.
Don't you think, probably personal opinion, don't you think the fear of the PF announcing who their president is that their fear is being followed by the ruling government? The person who will be president will be followed up by the
It's
ruling
nonsense.
government.
It's nonsensical to think like that. I mean, doesn't Hakainde Hichilema know who is the president at Packard?
Yes. Indeed.
He knows. Doesn't Hakainde Hichilema, isn't Hakainde Hichilema seeing the movements of President Edgar Lungu? He sees them. So if he really wants to follow him, he's going to follow him. Regardless whether he says, I'm president, I'm not president, he's going to follow him. Today he wanted to fly out. They have stopped him. So, I mean, that one really is very basic.
So the stopping of, I think due to time, I'm seeing a couple of messages coming in before we read the few messages. This is the second time I think the state has stopped Edgar Lungu. We know he wanted to go to South Africa for some medical checkups. What's the reason behind it? And today we hear he's supposed to go to South Korea. You know, what do you think is the reason behind it?
Well, I will, due to time, I will not dwell so much on the issue of the law, what is supposed to happen, and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, all I can tell you is that it's politics. It's politics. You know, it's politics, and we can't run away from it, that these are just politics. The politics that even by Edgar Lungu himself also practiced. You know, such politics will only end when Chilufya Tayali will be president. But as long as Hakainde Hichilema is there and the Edgar Lungu is doing politics, Yaka Bisira, they will keep on chasing each other like this, like Tom and Jerry.
Okay, so let me just read a few messages that I think people have sent, then you can probably give your last remarks on the show. I'm going to speak random 5 messages. Okay, this one says, my name is Mwanza from Chilila Wombwe. I'm enjoying the show. Tayali is such an amazing leader. I don't know if you want to say hi to Mwanza in Chilila Wombwe.
Of course, thank you very much, Mwanza. I appreciate.
All right, so this other one says, enjoying the show. What inspired to do IT? I think this is pretty much something we highlighted.
Yes. He says he's inspired to do IT.
He's inspired to do
it's
IT.
very good. It's very good. IT is very good, but very challenging.
Very challenging.
So when you're going into it, be ready to burn night candles. You know, stay awake at night. I almost had a divorce because of working late in the night because of IT.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This other message, there's no name here, but the person is saying, how do I join EEP?
Those are the people I want. Please, you know, just text me. Text me your names, your age, your sex, and the district where you are. So basically, that's what we are doing. Just you text me your name, your age, your gender, and the district where you are. We are compiling, a database, and very soon I'll be going around meeting people in the provinces. Of course, we are having the challenges of resources, but God will definitely help us. And I can assure you, we are the next government. So maybe somebody would ask me, say, but where are we texting? I can give my number. Yeah.
Yes.
So my number, if you want to text me those numbers, text me. Now, don't call me. Please just text me now, Papata. Let me give you the number that you should text. The number that you should text is, get that phone. It's 0966 888 936. So it's 0966 888 ama 8 ya tatu 936. That's the number that you can text me on, and we can be engaging.
Okay, indeed. Do you have probably any last words? I think you might have last words for your wife or so. Oh,
no, my wife, I'm going to find her. She's waiting for me. So no need to send her words. Yes, but just to say, I'm glad that I'm being interviewed by a young person. For me, this is very good because you are the future. So I've enjoyed the interview, and I wish you all the best. And I wish all the other young people all the best, especially those who are struggling to find their way through life. What am I going to do? Will I find a job? And so on and so forth. I encourage you to keep knocking at every door that you can knock on. And more importantly, please, please, please commit your life to God. Pray as much as you can. Pray about what you want. Pray about your future. Pray about other people. It's very, very important. Prayer is very important.
You should have been a pastor. you should. I would be your elder. I think. I love your emphasis. Even on your socials, you often remind people to pray, to give thanks to God.
No, it's very important. I tell you, our life is centered on God. If you leave God behind, you achieve nothing. Without me, you will bear no fruit. But with me, you will bear much fruit.
Amazing conversation indeed. As you've heard, I think his last remarks have been quite vital to wrap up the show. It's been an amazing evening. It is 50 minutes past 9 in the evening here at the KBN TV studios. Quite an interesting conversation we've had with EEP President Mr. Chilufya Tayali, who's highlighted so much about his journey, given his views so much on the political happenings currently in the country. I know you've been sending your messages and you've been trying to call in, but due to time, we'll have to wrap up the show. Do stay blessed and enjoy the new week tomorrow.
Friday, the 29th of September 2023 will be a monumental